Now, it's time for difficult conversations. Now, Sir Keir Starmer is as guilty as anyone over failures to tackle grooming gangs. That is according to whistleblower Maggie Oliver. And all of this comes as pressure mounts on the government to deliver a public inquiry into the gangs that systematically groomed and raped young girls. So for this week's difficult conversation, joining me, sexual abuse survivor and ambassador at the Maggie Oliver Foundation, Kelly Lees. Kelly, thank you very much for joining me. It's so good to talk to you. Now, I wanted to sort of start with what you can tell us about your story, because I know you're a survivor of this abuse and you're very brave even to be able to speak about it and be an ambassador for the Maggie Oliver Foundation. And Maggie, an incredible woman. But can you tell us a bit about your story?
Yeah, I was abused many years. You know, I can't go a lot into it, but I was, you know, abused on the streets. I was brought up, I was on a care order. You know, councils had duty of care for me, you know, and I was ignored and I was mocked. I was laughed at, you know, I was laughed at by certain police officers when I tried reporting the abuse. And that hasn't been easy. You know, so many of us was fobbed off.
Why do you think that they didn't take your claims seriously? You know, if you're a young girl being abused on the street and you're coming to the police for help, surely they should have at least listened. Why did they not take it seriously?
They didn't want to face the truth. You know, we was problems in their eyes. You know, when we're not the problems, we was criminalised. You know, abuse is a crime, and that is that. And we are human beings, you know, and if we have to, you know, abide to the law, then so do they, and they're supposed to be handling these reports with care. You know, they're supposed to take our statements. You know, I travelled this country, so I was taken seriously. And police stations and councils was nudged when I went to the foundation and when I went to the Truth Project. It wasn't until 2 years afterwards that they finally got in touch with me, and we are still waiting today.
It's just unbelievable. And how do you feel when you hear Jess Phillips saying that she doesn't want to have a national inquiry or a government-led inquiry, and that actually she wants the councils to do an inquiry and not the government?
I'm furious. I'm absolutely furious. Jess Phillips has refused that because they are scared of the truth coming out. And everyone is entitled to be aware of the truth. You know, we all should be able to feel safe where we're at, and we don't. Can you imagine, you know, these narcissists that are walking around on our streets today that haven't been dealt with? Can you imagine how triggering that is for these survivors like me? You know, this is really triggering. This is really hard. And then we're called upon when we express our feelings. You know, if someone's kicking off wanting justice and stuff, we are frowned upon. How is that fair? And these narcissists are walking around smiling and laughing because they are, and they're going round in circles. You know, they've committed this crime time and time again, not once, time and time again. And they're laughing, yeah, because they've been getting away with stuff for so long.
I mean, even now, I haven't seen much, you know, with people being arrested or stuff like that. I'm expecting to see some great, you know, arrest of people who've been involved in this, but I'm not really seeing anything. Has anybody been arrested as a result of what happened to you?
I can't comment on that. I'm not allowed to comment on that.
Yeah, OK. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So how important has the Maggie Oliver Foundation been for you?
Do you know what? That's so important. You know, the survivors coming in every day, you know, we give them strength and courage. We listen with that care and compassion. You know, the survivors that I work with, you know, they're coming out of isolation, you know, because just with that listening ear, you know, they're coming out of isolation, they're joining society. You know, that they're facing the fear. Some of them's been hidden in the homes for many, many years, and they're hidden in the homes because the people that abuse them are still walking around today, and justice has not been served. You know, in this country, the court logo is female of, you know, and scales. This country is not balanced with justice at all today, and it hasn't been many, many years.
So what would you like to see happen? Obviously an inquiry, presumably, but what else would you like to see happen?
I would like the inquiry to happen, therapy to be given to the survivors, you know, kind handling of these survivors. You know, they're already scared. These narcissists have drilled into them fear. They've got no worth. They're absolutely petrified. You know, these survivors need that support. They need that help. They need that care and nurture, not being fobbed off, not being laughed at. You know, they need therapists and stuff. But that costs money. And this is what this boils down to. That costs money. Money these governments aren't willing to spend on that.
It is shocking, especially as Jess Phillips is the safeguarding minister. So you would hope something would happen. And actually, we can't just blame her, because the Conservative Party, when they were in power and this was actually happening, didn't do very much about it either. I mean, there have been inquiries, but there's not really been any response to the inquiries and the findings of the inquiries. If people want to get in touch with the Maggie Oliver Foundation, because I'm sure there are girls out there, or, you know, who are maybe going through it, where can they go? How can they get in touch with the organisation?
If you go on the Maggie Oliver Foundation, you know, there is a link on there, you know, and we will be in touch. You know, you will be allocated someone that's suitable for you. Yeah. You know, and you'll be provided emotional phone calls, you know, consistently. You will not be fobbed off. You know, and then there's the advocacy also. You know, they are a great support team. They really are.
All right. Well, listen, Kelly, it's really good to talk to you. Thank you very much for sharing your story. I really appreciate you. You're incredibly brave, and, you know, just keep doing what you're doing, because, you know, it is pushing through, and governments will have to listen to what is being said. Thank you very much. That's sexual abuse survivor and ambassador at the Maggie Oliver Foundation, Kelly Lees. Well, in reply, Safeguarding Minister Jess Phillips has acknowledged the strength of feeling that a further inquiry into child sexual exploitation in Oldham should be undertaken, but she has maintained that local authorities should take the lead, saying that it is for Oldham Council alone to decide to commission an inquiry into child sexual exploitation locally, rather than the government to intervene. She also says that she welcomes the council's resolution to continue its work with victims and survivors.